Hello everyone. In the previous lesson we added AJAX pagination capabilities to our user list. We're still working on the same application. This time we have a new modal window for user editing. This might seem like a small addition, but there's actually a good amount of code involved, so this is why I'm dedicating a whole video to this new feature. There's going to be quite a lot of code that can be reused for other projects, which is the whole point of this series, to come up with templates and libraries that can be put together like puzzle pieces to quickly create new websites or web applications. First of all, let's try the new feature. As you can see, the website was renamed to User Portal because it's becoming more and more like a full web application. So we got rid of the old name, which was Sidebar. The edit dialog can be opened by clicking on the pencil icon next to a user. Once we do that, we get access to a form with all of the information related to the user. Going back to the database, we can see that the user table contains those fields: first name, last name, email, detail, avatar, title, and status. Those are all included in the edit form. On top, we have an image selector to set the avatar. This takes us to the hard drive and prompts us to select a picture file. If we select a file that's too big, in this case more than 500 kilobytes, we get an error message. If we choose a file that's the right size, it automatically gets uploaded and the preview updates itself. In the project folder, we see that the file was saved with a random name. Before we make other changes, let's save and see what happens. The user list was automatically updated in the back. The new profile picture is already being displayed. If we reopen the edit window, the preview now shows the new picture. In the database, let's select user 2, which is the one we just edited. The avatar field contains the file name that was randomly generated earlier. In the same way, we can go ahead and modify the other fields. As soon as we save, all of the information gets updated asynchronously without us needing to refresh the list. Let's now dive into the code and look at the changes that took place. First of all, index.php is up to over 300 lines of code. We have a modal that's very similar to the one we created for the information dialog, but this one takes care of the edit feature. Once again, it starts out with some placeholder text, and the real content gets generated when we click on the pencil icon. The code in getUserPage was updated to include an action that calls the displayUserEdit function and passes it the user ID. DisplayUserEdit is in index.php in the script section. It calls two functions, one to set the dialog title and one to populate the form. setEditTitle does an AJAX call on getUserFullName.php located in the management folder. We have a couple of new files in the management folder. The purpose of those files is to perform database operations in an asynchronous way. We have getUserPage that we worked on previously. We now have getUserEditForm to obtain the information to display in the edit form. We also have updateUser, which gets called when we click the save button, and uploadAvatar, which uploads the image once it gets selected. Now if we go back to our JavaScript functions, we also have loadUserEdit, which is the one responsible for calling getUserEditForm.php. The file selector gets attached to a change event so that when the selected file changes, it goes through validation, and if everything's valid, then it calls uploadAvatar. Once again, this function is very similar to the other ones. The PHP file takes care of doing the upload. Then once the operation is successful, we update the source of the image using the file name returned by the server, that is response text. The other big piece of code is the updateUser function. It retrieves all of the information entered in the edit form and it submits it to updateuser.php. That file calls a function from the update class, which in turn calls a stored procedure called updateuser. That procedure performs an update using all the parameters that were taken from the form. The other stored procedures that were added since last time are getStatusList and getTitleList. Those are used to populate the drop-down lists that allow to select a status and a title for their user. We also have getUser to obtain a user's information based on his ID. It goes without saying that all of those procedures are called by the select class, which in turn gets instantiated in the management layer, that is the PHP files that are found in the management folder. That sums up the elements that were added to the project since last time. We now have an application that's taking shape and contains a lot of code that can be assembled into different types of projects. I hope you benefited from this lesson. Please make sure to download the code using the link below. Thank you for watching and see you next time.